Mobile device security is at the top of every healthcare organization's worry list these days, and for good reason. Data breaches in healthcare happen often and cost millions. Due to the penalties under the HITECH Act, we often see these breaches splashed all over the news. In today's technology, just about everyone has a smart device. Patients, providers, and employees have some sort of mobile electronic device they routinely use to access health data and communicate with each other. That is why keeping sensitive information out of the wrong hands is high, especially in order to maintain HIPAA compliance. Major security threats come in many forms, but we will only focus on a few of the more common ones usually associated with social engineering, which refers to the weakest link in the organization. Data leakage is seen as the most threatening to security, usually as a result of user error. Emails, transferring files, and using mobile apps are often the cause of unintentional data leakage. Mobile users give permissions but don't always check security. Data leakage can also happen through threat actors. In 2016, malware was a huge problem for mobile devices, from backdoor malware that steals personal information to ransomware that locks your phone. A 2019 report by J.R. Raphael reports malware infections are incredibly uncommon in this real world these days. In fact, you have a higher chance of being struck by lightning than being infected by malware. This is a result of protection built into modern mobile operating systems. Avoid phishing scams. Cybercriminals or threat actors will attempt to trick you into divulging login IDs, passwords, banking or credit card information, and various other kinds of personal information. Phishing scammers may use phone, text, social networking sites, but most commonly by email. Be suspicious of any contact that asks for personal or financial information. Unsecured wireless networks. Any device that can send data across the airwaves is a concern for security. Always switch off your wireless connection when it's not in use. Just to be safe, use free Wi-Fi sparingly and never use it to access confidential or personal services. In healthcare, there are steps to reducing data security risk and maintaining HIPAA compliance, starting with assessing the awareness of the organization's data security issues and providing steps to reducing these risks. Know what's on your network. Healthcare organizations should inventory everything, including devices such as printers, personal medical devices, and institutional medical instruments. Healthcare organization needs to secure and protect all devices and instruments with strong passwords and two-factor authentication. Thinking like the attacker, default passwords and insecure points are just a few of the vulnerabilities an attacker will attempt to exploit. It is necessary to think outside of the box because attackers have done everything from use a network fax machine to access prescriptions to manipulate surveillance cameras to capture the passcode to the server room. Your network pathways. In addition to protecting entry into devices and systems, organizations need to protect outgoing information, such as filtering and monitoring and controlling, potentially restricting the flow of outbound information. This will ensure unauthorized or malicious traffic never makes it to the internet. Healthcare organizations should continually assess their systems for potential vulnerabilities, then make repairs and improvements based on the findings and attest to the actions taken. Hospitals do risk assessments for medical devices. Cybersecurity has been added to that risk assessment for seeing where equipment and tools used in the hospital might have vulnerabilities. Defense is key to security. In Hoyt and Hirsch, they describe some of the tools and operational techniques to prevent unauthorized access, use, or disclosure of information for client protection, as patching, antivirus, encryption are just a few. Patching and antivirus are two of the tools used to protect healthcare privacy and security, with patches like updates on your phone to patch vulnerabilities that they've found in this operating system. And of course, antivirus, we all know about antivirus software developed for devices that detect and block viruses from infecting your computer or your tablet or your smartphone. Keeping data secure on your mobile devices requires strong authentication. Examples of these are passwords, tokens, such as PIN numbers, and biometrics, like irises and fingerprints. Facial recognition are some of the new ones. Privileged account management and border defenses refers to users with elevated access to the system, like account managers, system managers, people with higher credentials. And border defenses talks about like firewalls and web filtering and encryption to help prevent data from being accessed. Three key impact areas in security in the last few years are desktops, which connect to mobile networks. They're becoming increasingly responsible for infecting smartphones and tablets. And BYODs are the users are granted high-level access from personal mobile devices, smartphones, and tablets. They essentially take the place of desktops these days. People use them just like computers, but they don't offer the same level of built-in security or control. And the Internet of Things, with all the types of smart devices that we have, even thermostats, kitchen appliances, and even hospital cameras, implanted cardiac devices, they're all monitored and need antivirus solutions because hackers may be able to access these devices over networks. Other threats to healthcare security is insider misuse. People that intentionally get jobs at hospital organizations for the purpose of retrieving patient data. Unintentional actions, people that accidentally leak data, either by mistake or by not paying attention. And there's the supply chains. Vendors have to be monitored and sign HIPAA waivers to maintain patient data security. Along with cyber threats and unintentional security breaches, protocols to prevent loss must be in place. The world we live in has an increasing amount of devices connected to the internet, and each one represents a pathway to information. In conclusion, mobile security must be of the highest importance in the healthcare setting to prevent data breaches and data leakages. This responsibility falls on everyone involved in the healthcare setting, from patients, vendors, providers, and employees.